hold up. No man deserves praise besides Jesus Christ. No man deserves worship besides Jesus Christ. You put your trust in man, he will fail you every time. Miss Celeste back with another prophetic message. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. See y'all at the end.
Men in authority, men of great power, men who gatekeep the secrets of America, the kind of man that people love to have in their phone. You get their number and you're looking at that number as if you found platinum and diamonds and gold, because you have now direct access to this man. If you even get his email, you count yourself among the cloud 9 people. Those kinds of men are going to be falling like ripe figs from a high place, because God says he is done with the dirt that makes America run. This country runs on dirt. It runs on dirty deeds, and its people are so defiant in the face of the truth. Its people love to cling to the fantasy of cleanliness, but America is as filthy gets. And God has gotten tired of waiting for the Church of Jesus Christ to lead the charge for righteousness. He has gotten tired of Christians who are too lazy to read the word to even know how God behaves in the face of continued defiance in sin. He has gotten sick of people who use their filthy righteousness, because it surely is the filthy righteousness, the rags of men that they use to cover the guilty and excuse them, even when they are in the grip of the biggest scandal of their lives. God is sick of a church that is not righteous, because God himself is righteous. And when he gave up his life on that cross for us, he expected us to submit to his word and to be made into his image, but we don't want to. So God is going to be the one who takes things in his own hands. He's going to drag the curtains apart. He's going to bring out all the dirt, all the safety deposit boxes. I told you, Nazis in this country. Let me just flow with where the Holy Spirit is leading me, because he has been asking me why I have not come back to make his videos. Nazis in this country, the jig is up. We know that you are here. Some people know that you are here because they did the research before I was even born. Some people saw the secret documents when they brought you here, and they gave you asylum, and they gave you brand new names, and they took away your names like Richter and Stedman, and they gave you names like Jones and Hillier. But you are a Nazi. You are a Nazi. You are a killer. Blood was shed under your hands. And you and your children are here living the high life, golfing and wearing your sweaters over your shoulder and acting like butter doesn't melt in your mouth. But we know that you are here and your time is up. And God says it is just a moment of time before those safe deposit boxes, I think that's what they're called, safety deposit boxes, before those safety deposit boxes will be brought out into the wrong hands. And you letter agencies, you are so shameful. You said that you went to police academy and that you were taking oaths to serve and protect, and you said that you would keep the country safe, but you are just stooges. As I'm speaking now, I'm just seeing something that looks like what you rake the fireplace with to gather the coals and the ashes. That's what you've become in the hands of the political elites. I don't know how you sleep at night. I don't know why your wives respect you. You are shameless men and women. You are bought and paid for. You police of this country, you are pimps. And some of you are pedophiles yourself. I don't know how you look at your faces in the mirror. They have weaponized you, the FBI and the CIA, against the people of this nation. You are the biggest mafia in the United States. You are bought and paid for. You answer to the highest bidder, whoever is in power that just pays you money. You hush up evidence with your blue coats. I saw you. I have seen you. The Lord has taken me to that fancy place that you call Langley. In a dream, I think in 2015, the Lord gave me amazing power to jump. I could jump so high. It was exhilarating, but it was terrifying at the same time. And in that dream, I was jumping and coming down to earth, jumping and coming down to earth. I jumped and I saw that thing that they called, it came and it was called Arab Spring or something like that. I jumped high and I saw the Arab countries just going into madness. And I didn't know what that was. And then I jumped again, and by mistake, I think, I landed in that Langley yard. I saw you guys in that fancy blue thing that you wear with the FBI yellow letters. And when I landed, there were 3 of you in the yard, and you turned around in shock. It was at night, and I have no idea what you guys were doing there. I landed and you turned around in shock, and one of you pulled a weapon and said, "Who are you and how did you get here?" And in terror, because I was not used to these things that God was doing with me in the early years. Now I can manage to get through 5-6 dreams in a night and go right back to sleep because I have to work in the morning. There is a lot ahead of us, Christians. The last thing I saw in that dream, I jumped one last time, and when I was in the air, I was looking at a lot of events that will come in this world. One of the events I actually saw was the death of this lady, Brooke Shields, on a billboard. She had died and they were remembering her life, but God scrambled all the letters that they were using to remember her, so I couldn't remember what they said about her. I just remembered Brooke Shields had died, and it was so massive that it was making headline news. But the most beautiful thing I saw is that after all those hurdles, after all those problems, far in the distance, I'm talking so far down the timeline, God sharpened my eyesight and I saw a beautiful golden pavilion. And on that pavilion, bless his holy name, was the most magnificent male lion that I have ever seen. Jesus, the Lion of Judah. To those who will live past all these things that I talk about, and people insult me and think I have time to sit here and lie to you like you're paying me to be here. To those who make it through everything, Lion of Judah. And I saw him and he was restless because of how much time it was taking to get everything lined up. Let the wind of the Holy Spirit flow how he wants to flow on this video. He was at the very end on a beautiful gold porch, golden pavilion, and he was pacing back and forth. And when I was in the air, the Lord looked across and looked at me, and I'm telling you, that electrifying feeling, those of you who are playing with your short and tiny little life, lusting after the things of the world, you're chasing money, you're chasing power, you're chasing notoriety, you're wasting your humanity and you don't even know what you're here for. You are here to get it right so that you can have the opportunity to connect with the one that you missed in the garden, the one that I missed in the garden. Our generations were sold off by Adam and Eve because they didn't know what they had. And they listened to someone with a big mouth and he deceived them, and they lost it all. They lost the power, the authority, the rulership. They lost it all. Life on earth is about trying to get back to Eden. It's not to be following the sun god and to be trying to unlock your inner pineal gland, winged fairy, whatever. It is to make it to that golden pavilion so that immortal one, the excellence of excellence, can look you in the eyes and say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." What a day. I saw him at the end of it all, waiting for us. That dream has never left me. And so, the prophecy for today, if you have heard the word of the Lord that instability, fear, doubt, and rage is coming, you must be very careful, people. You must be very careful. Ah, yes, let me pause. About the Nazis, you will be exposed. The Nazis that live in Switzerland, God says that he will humble you, he will expose you. Somehow they're going to get access to your safety deposit boxes. That's where you have all the little swastika pins. Because you see, you guys think that you are intelligent. This is what a lot of rich people and wicked people are like. Rich people and wicked people are very much alike. Of course, you can't paint everyone with the same brush, but then sometimes groups have traits, and the traits are not racism, and the traits are not profiling. They're just traits, and they're true. Rich people and wicked people have very many things in common, and one of those things is thinking that they're smarter than everything else. But you forget that you are human, and you forget that you are sentimental like everyone else. You didn't want to get rid of your little Hitler pins, and you also kept, like we all do, you kept important papers. You kept birth certificates when you were running away from Germany. You kept your birth certificates. You kept your marriage documents, because even murderers have wives. You kept things, and you were loath to part with them, even though you were barter traded a brand new American identity. You didn't want to let those things go. So you came over here with your names like Stadler and Eichmann, and you exchanged those names for names like Smith and Brown. But because you were smart, and because you were working on deadly things over there in Germany long before I was born, America afforded you very high positions. You work in that lying center, NASA, now. You're very high up in the military-industrial complex. You are the heads of businesses. You are the heads of places like BlackRock. You are so deeply embedded into this nation, and your wickedness is causing America to bleed out, because every time you put pythons and panthers at the top of the food pyramid, they pump in venom and claws, and then the nation begins to bleed. America, God says that you embraced darkness, and now she's squeezing you to death as you deserve, because you were greedy. You wanted to know how Hitler did it. Those people are here, and their secrets are in safety deposit boxes that they're keeping overseas. But God says that your secrets will come out. Now, I don't know if these young hacker children are going to hack your secrets. I don't know how your safety deposit boxes are going to get out, but your true identities will be exposed. Travel restrictions are coming back, and the laws of America are going to be changed more than ever before. And then the last piece is that 2025 is the descent into madness. America, I've been telling you for years that the various forms of government and the leaders that you see in front of you they're just playing and behaving well for now. It's like people who actually know what they want to do, but because you're watching, they have to do what you think they should do. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't have the room to be a conspiracy theorist, because I'm listening to the Heavenly Father all the time. And Jesus Christ is the ultimate source, and there is no need for an immortal. God has no birthday and no death date. He doesn't have a tombstone. Even when he came as flesh, he borrowed somebody else's grave for 3 days, and then he gave it back and went home. There's no need for conspiracy when you talk to someone like this on the regular, all the time. When God tells you that there is something called a deep state, I was stunned, because I was thinking, are these people serious? These people who say this thing about deep state, Lord, you mean that it's true? And he said, yes, that there's a government behind the United States government. So it's not conspiracy to tell you that the people that lead us lie, they pander, they pretend that they care. The Lord says that when they have these special interest focus groups, when they say we need people from the Black community, come and tell us what you need, they don't care. The minute you fill in those surveys and hand it in, they probably shred it and then use it to line the cat basket at the office. They don't care. They're not following any known set of rules. I've told you here for years, they're building for the beast. These guys have a Hail Satan office mixer coming up, and we are not invited. They're not running the nation for the benefit of the people unless the decisions would be better, the leaders would be better. They're palpably not. You think that the one you like is, but that's because you're deceived, and you've been drinking the Kool-Aid for so long that you are ill with the poison. But some of us are not. God keeps us from drinking that evil water. The descent into madness means that in 2025, all bets are off. No one's pretending to make you feel comfortable. No one's bothering to work on the familiar land of the free, home of the there's none of that. You're just going to wake up and see stuff happening in 2025. The descent into madness means that you literally will not be able to make sense of what's going on. That is descending into madness. It means that the country is on its way to becoming a hellscape. 2025 is the year when everything will fall to pieces. The year when the wheels fall off. I will put that as the prophecy title. 2025, the year when the wheels fall off. I'm Celestial, and this is the Master's Voice. God bless you, and thank you for being with me. Thank you to those of you who support the channel. Thank you to those of you who share the videos. If you're going to share my videos, kindly make sure that you state where the piece that you are taking it is from. If you're uploading it on your channel, please put the blog information there, because the blog is the center of all this. That's where all those prophecies have been written for you to use over the last 4 years, since May 2019 until now. Put the blog there so that people can go and read for themselves. There has to be some form of responsibility. It doesn't matter what country you are in. You're not coming here to be entertained. This is not a sitcom. This is my life on the altar. And my life is on the altar so that by some means, God can by all means save some. That is, if a person is listening and if a person is able to get over their cognitive bias, the lies that you've been told in church that made you think that you're going to get raptured out of any of this. I don't know where you think you're going before Obama gets here, but may God help you in that. If you're going to use the videos, clip the videos, put my hashtag there, put my @ there if you're on TikTok or Instagram. If you're on TikTok or Instagram and you think you're getting the full story, you are not. And I'm not going to exhaust myself there. I'm going to post clips there, and I'm going to always recommend that you come here for the full video. If you do, God bless you. If you don't, God bless you also. That's on you. Until I see you again, God bless you and goodbye. America is going to be taken into the beast system, and that we're going to enter such a time of darkness here that people are going to run away from this country like water coming out of a broken vessel. You know, you drop something like a piece of pottery, and it gets, as soon as it touches the floor, it gets that big hunk of broken whatever, and the water just whooshes out like that. America is going to be taken fully captured into the beast system, and will enter such a time of darkness that will make people flee from here. And when they run away, they're going to be watching what happens here in shock and horror that America can ever become the way it's going to become. And so I was sleeping and I was having a dream, but I'm going to tell you what God told me when I woke up from the dream that I will then explain to you. So you hear that he says the public icons and everything is going to be useless. The iconic moments, all the Latinos that were throwing the Molotov cocktails, there are amazing images, still images of them, memes of them driving ICE away, polka dot girl from New York. God says none of that stuff is going to work. We're going into the beast system. We're going into a dark time. The running away from the country will continue. All the people with money are weighing their options, and they're out of here. Especially, in fact, even if you don't have money, if you have children. If you have children and you are still sitting here doing this, Sister Celestial, what should we do? You have to take the first steps. You have to go and get passports for those children. If you are foreign, you have citizen children. I have had this citizen children prophecy on this blog for 3 years. I think that prophecy came out in April of 2022. So it's been here for a long time. It really has. April of 2025 makes it 3 years. So now it's going on being 4 years old. You need to go to the embassy of the country you come from, either mom or dad. You need to stop wasting time. Go to the embassy of where you come from and see what the process is. Even if you have to get a lesser a lesser travel document, like a laissez-passer, which means let pass. You have to get something that will allow you to extricate your offspring across these borders, unless they will keep that child as a U.S. citizen, and you're not taking that U.S. citizen anywhere. I know when you naturalized, you never saw this part. But now Jesus loves you, and Jesus is showing you this part, that it is time to get the young one back to Mexico, back to Nicaragua, back to Guinea, back to Burkina Faso, back to wherever, because no matter what is going on in other centers of the world, it's not going to be the theater of disaster and human bloodshed as it's going to be here. And the dream is not over. We're going to continue. So God said to me something about a dream that I had. I'm going to read you what he said, and then I'm going to tell you what the dream was. The Lord woke me up from a dream and said, tell them that their naked flesh will be seen in America. They will be naked on international TV. The press will show bare naked flesh on the evening news, and the news around the world will see American nakedness due to how roughly the government forces will handle them. They will drag you until your clothes tear off you, until your blouse tears and the bra comes off, showing the breasts of a woman in public. ICE will drag you until your pullover, that's a sweater, until your pullover comes off, wrestle you until the bra tears and the breasts of a woman will flow free to be seen by all on the internet and around the world. They will break your face. They will break your teeth. They will break your jaw, and there will be no consequences for it. There's a difference if a woman just sits on the internet and tells you, no, I just have a feeling that based on what we're seeing on the news, I just have a feeling that it could go there. It could, I feel, judging from what I saw on Fox News last night, and I feel, on the 3 TikToks that I looked at, I think we're going to go there. There's a lot of people doing that in America right now. There's a lot of people doing, I called it, and I just watch them on the internet. There's a lot of people parroting my messages without being honest about why they're saying the things that they're saying. There's a lot of people who have the exact words that they come here and listen to me quietly. Then they go on their channel and they begin to repeat verbatim these messages that trouble my soul so greatly, because they don't have to pay the cost. They're just looking for clicks and they're looking for engagement. Mark my words. And I'm looking at them, black, white, whatever. And I know that they're lying, because God didn't tell them anything, and it's not their words. They're getting it from here. But there are other people who know how to roll the dice and just read the signs, and they're saying, you know what, from the way things are looking, it looks like any minute now ICE is going to kill someone. It looks like this and that and that. There are people who are accurate simply because they're able to think, but there's something when God is telling you something. Let me tell you something about someone who has all power. Once have I heard it, twice has it been said. All power belongs to God. There's something about someone who has the power to stop anything who doesn't. There's something chilling knowing that God has the power to stop anything. This is God who held up the sea on both sides until his millions of people passed through, and no drop was going blip blip on their heads, because had they been walking on the dry ground and then God was allowing the sea to be churning and some drops were spraying on them, those people would have had apoplexy. They would have gone into cardiac arrest, because in the middle of the sea and then there's drops, the water is coming to fall on our head. Black people, they know how to maximize it, to triplicate it, and just send it to the moon. We're about to die. All the yelling would have started. He had that water obediently parted. This is something that has never been done before, and nobody can do it except God. So for somebody who has the power, that when Joshua cried out, "Sun, stand still," over, I think it was Ashkelon, when a man can call out, basically, God, can you not see me chasing my enemies? You are the one who told us never to leave a job undone. I'm chasing these people. I've got some of them, but I haven't got all of them, and the sun is setting. We won't be able to finish this battle if the sun sets. Sun, hold your position. And God is like, I got you. And the Lord stops the sun so that this man can finish the assignment of killing these half-breed Nephilim people. This is someone with immeasurable power. When someone with immeasurable power comes down to the level of telling you, so if you mess with the government, you're going to need dentures, even though you're 21. If you mess with the government, 5 of them are going to jump on you and stomp you on your spinal cord, and then you're going to be a paraplegic, even though you're 32. If you mess with the government, they're going to punch you in the chest, and you're going to go straight into cardiac arrest because you're 67. There's something very chilling in that. There's a signal being sent in that somewhere that I pray people are understanding. Worst of all, when God, who has infinite power, comes down to the level of a futuristic narrator telling you that there's a possibility for you to be trending on the evening news as the first naked arrested so-and-so. And this has happened before. I'm absolutely positive that this has happened before in arrests of maybe racial profiling, in arrests of uneven power where the cops knew that they had an opportunity and they don't mind sexually assaulting a victim or something like that. But this is different, because we all know that when we're looking at international protests or anything, and we're watching how even the British government is starting to do this, even the British cops are starting to violently detain people in ways that just don't line up with how the bobbies work. That's not how they operate. That's not how they work, with excessive force. Those people don't even carry guns. But they're starting to also have this mob-like mentality where they are leaping on Brits 4 and 5, roughly detaining them and things like that, and that's just not their style. When God is telling you that somebody's basically going to drag you to the point that your shirt comes off and your breasts are seen on the news, and as I saw ICE, they didn't care. They will drag you, your clothes will come off. I'm telling you, if you go into that van naked, if you go into that van with everything torn, they will take you to whatever facility, and I promise you, they will process you naked. Your mugshot will be naked. I saw them mocking a man. They had gotten some tall white guy, and his whole front was out. God didn't cover anything. They wrestled that man. I don't know how that man's pants became torn or whatever. When he was arrested, they had him with his arms sharply detained behind him. And you know how they sit you against the car on the floor or something, so you're sitting in an L shape with your back up and your legs straight in front of you? His whole front was out. His pants were torn. ICE made no attempt to cover his modesty. ICE made no attempt to, let's get spare pants or anything. When they were finished, they lifted him up with his arms like that. They lifted him up, dragged him up the back of the car, and marched that man to the detention van, and his everything was out. And he was just like that. And that was caught by news, caught by cell phone footage and things like that. So before the Lord told me this, that ICE will drag you until your top comes out and wrestle you until your bra tears and they will see the breasts of women. Remember, in the past, I told you that the Lord said that breasts will be seen in this nation as part of the punishment of the United States. Said, Celestial, tell them that their bare breasts will be observed in this nation during the time period of America's judgment. And when I was writing this down, when he was telling me, that is the first thing that came to my mind, not only because of the slavery prophecies where the Lord says that open slave markets will be here in America. They will be auctioning off men, women, and children naked on the auction block, the same way that they did to the African Americans in the past, auctioning them off naked, sometimes auctioning them with clothes. But when the original slaves came, for sure, and the auctions were brand new, they used to put men, women, and children naked on the stand. If you see a human dog and then you see the robot dog coming to monitor a protest, I'll take the human dog any day. I'll take the dog that God made any day, because I can pray to God to strike that dog with lightning or to make an angel appear in front of the dog. There's things that can be done with the godly dog, even if the godly dog is trained for attack. There's nothing to do with the robot dog but run, and the robot dog will follow you forever. It will never stop following you once they lock its sights on you as a fleeing suspect. It can wait outside your house for 10 weeks until you come outside, or until the battery dies, whichever one comes first. So, this is human beings, but sensitized to wickedness. It's very important for you to understand that. So I saw them hitting bone, hitting teeth, using their fists openly, and they felt justified because they receive messaging from their superiors. Anything is okay. Nothing is off the table. Nothing is wrong. Anything happens, go for blood. That's what they're telling these people. Kristi Noem will never tell you this. That other lipless wonder in the White House, Caroline Levitt, she'll never tell you this. But God is telling you this. So that what? So that you can walk circumspect as one wise, redeeming the time. Because they felt that they had every right generically to be as violent and repressive as they needed to be, the public was constantly being surprised by the kind of violence that the security forces were bringing to the protest, and they were visibly losing against them. So now I woke up from the dream, just briefly. I woke up from this dream, seeing America definitely losing, and the Lord told me, tell America this: she will not be great again. No matter what she does, no matter what public revolutionaries she raises up as an icon, they will all fail, and this nation will be captured by the government. I will give her over to the beast system, and all the ways of the evil one will be manifested and seen in her. Because she has disengaged from serving me, so she will serve another master, who is the beast. America will never be great. All the icons she's raising up will fall, and the revolution will be a failure. So now the Lord is talking to me as I wake up for briefly, because these dreams are, like I said, they're surging, and there's so much happening that when you wake up, it's almost like a kind of relief from being in the middle of some kind of action sequence that is happening so close to your face, so close to you. If you've never been caught in the middle of people pushing and shoving, but they're not just pushing and shoving like, hey, no. The public is pushing and shoving with so much rage, pent up rage, for what they feel the government is doing to them. And the government has sent its visible arm, its paramilitary and military arm, to show we cannot be moved and you will not stop us. So I wake up, and then God is saying, Celeste, go and tell these people that this movement where they think they're going to reinvent themselves, this movement where they think they're going to prevail against the growth and the upsurge of the beast system and take their country back, go and tell them that it's going to be a failure. And he says something curious, and as he's saying it, I'm seeing something. He's saying, tell them that all the icons that they're raising up, all the icons that are marking the historic moment of America fighting for her freedom, they're going to fall, and the revolution is ultimately going to be a failure. I'm going to give these people over into the beast system and all the ways of the devil. That's who Yah means, the evil ones. All the ways of the evil one will be manifested and seen in her. And I've discussed the ways of the evil one here ad nauseum. The Bible is full of the ways of Satan. When it says in the last days, men will be lovers of themselves. When it says in the last days, the love of many will grow cold. That is talking about the deterioration of the society as a whole. People are not going to want to be able to help you anymore. When I used to come here, and God says that this will be a loveless society, a hateful society where brother will hate brother, brother will not lend a helping hand to brother. I said, when the end times come, America is going to deteriorate into purge anarchy. Every man for himself. I said, a neighbor who didn't plan before the beast system will come to his other neighbor with a gun and say, oh, I'm sorry, Henry, but I don't have any food in the house. And I know you guys have food here because I know y'all are Christians and y'all been stockpiling stuff. And that man, everything that he's saying, he's standing at your gun at the door, your neighbor of 10 years, but he has a gun. His hand is shaking, but that shaking hand doesn't mean that he won't shoot you. He will shoot you. He will shoot Marie. He will shoot your kids and everything that's in the house. He's going to go, and him and his wife will come and take it all and take it back to their house. And the police will just come and say, it looks like a robbery. And the police themselves are scared because by that time the Nephilim are out, and the Nephilim come out at like 4 p.m. in winter, because by 4 p.m. in the United States it's dark in most places during winter. So the cops are like, oh, well, you know, it looks like a robbery. And they'll just be like, there was a robbery at 22122 this house, and they're gone. They're not going to investigate it. The cops are not going to be on duty that much. I said that 911 is not going to answer your calls. FEMA is not going to answer calls. The emergency services, the EMS services, when there's a heart attack, they're not going to come. And so with that kind of situation, I said that people will be cold-hearted, wicked, loveless. And the backlash I got, no, this is a nation of solidarity. This is a nation that supports one another. And then you see people punching each other in the face during COVID to get the last roll of toilet tissue. And I was like, well, there's the love, I guess. There's the camaraderie. People fighting each other because they go to the bank and they say 6 feet apart. And then when it's time to move forward, one person moves forward too much and he's not standing on his circle. And the person in front is afraid, hey, you're too close to me. Fight. People got knifed in this COVID because the other person was terrified that the other person would give them COVID, and people got killed, people got shot. And God always used to say, wait until pressure comes upon these people. You will see their real nature. You will see their wickedness. You will see that it's every man for himself and the devil take all. So when God was saying the public icons that America is raising up to mark the revolution will fall, you know who I saw? When he was talking to me, I saw the girl from New York City in the polka dot dress. Polka dot ice punching queen. The girl in the polka dot dress that stood in front of the tank and gave them the rude double middle fingers, which is to New Yorkers iconic, because that was the height of telling them, this is what we think of you. That is what the Lord showed me as an iconic moment. I saw this girl in a still frame. People have made so many memes of this girl. She is a cultural phenomenon in the United States. A Latina girl who stood by herself on her way to work or on her way to get her mid-afternoon coffee when ICE came to raid New York City a week ago, and stopped in front of that tank and would not let the tank proceed. And later, when ICE got out of their vehicles and tried to come and grab the vendors on Canal Street, Madam was front and center, using her hip, using her shoulder, fighting with the tall, white, red-headed girl with the mask right next to her, jacking up these men, fighting for American freedom. I saw that girl, and she was used to represent New York. The next thing that the Lord showed me was 3 Latinos in profile. You know when you have a painting and they paint a man here at the top, then another man here in the middle, then another man here, and they paint them in side profile 1, 2, 3, like that in a diagonal. I saw these people, these 3 Latinos, with their lower faces covered by the same face sock that ICE wears, but they were screaming in defiance with a row of police cars in front of them. And that was the picture God used to represent LA. The next thing God showed me was that man who stood in front of the tank in China in 1989. He's called Tank Man, an iconic moment where the Chinese government was up to something that escapes my mind right now, and the tanks were rolling across Tiananmen Square in China, and that one human being in his white shirt stood to defy those tanks. An iconic moment that has always been celebrated in human history as the defiance of the human spirit trying to stand up for democracy in a country that is clearly not a democratic nation. I saw that, and then God was showing me that all the revolutions around the world share this same thread. People tend to frame their fight for freedom around iconic moments that stand out. America has a long history of sleeping with men and then still feeling like an alpha male. I don't know where this schizophrenia comes from. You sleep with a man and then you will say, I'm not gay. It's a power tool. They will abuse male and female equally on the way to lockup. There's no need for me to write down such things. I see it. I know what I saw. If they put you, one lady, two ladies, three ladies, in a disheveled state in the back of that van, I don't care if Johnny Cochran, foreigners, Johnny Cochran was one of the best African-American lawyers in African-American or any type of skin color history in the legal halls of fame. Some questioned his methods. They said that he was unorthodox, but you know what? That man knew how to win. I don't care if you raise Johnny Cochran from the dead to defend you. What will happen to you in the back of that van, in that trip? There's no constitutional law. There's no constitutional court. There's no Supreme Court ruling. There's no financial award that will fix what ICE are capable of doing to you in the drive to lockup. That is what I saw. You just see men, they're getting in there, and then one just gets up with that mask. What are you going to say? It was Masked Man 5, it was Masked Man 3, Masked Man 2, and the short fat one. Is that the testimony you are going to give to the court? So then where do we find Masked Man 5, 2, and the short one? Isn't that the whole of the ICE police force? I have a message from the Lord that I really have prayed that people will listen to and allow the full import of the message to come into them. I know that every time I come here, there's the risk that it might be a new person, and whenever new people come here, they obviously come with their own mindsets, they come with their own ideas, they come with their own belief systems. But unfortunately, you're going to find those things are not helpful for you here, because most of the things that are on this prophetic channel, this end times channel, they absolutely fly in the face of conventional wisdom. They fly in the face of what the average person in the United States has been told about the state of the world that they live in. It goes against what the average person in the United States believes as a conventional reality. Most of us here in this country, unless we come up against something that is going to disabuse us of our belief systems, most of us tend to believe either one way or another way. And that in turn is highly shaped by a person's background, a person's personal experiences, where you grew up, sometimes what part of the country you live in, and of course, we can't leave out your politics. Politics just determines how people think. And what we're experiencing at this particular junction in time in the United States is that politics is more divided than ever. Politics is more divisive than ever. Politics are destroying American homes, destroying American relationships, destroying how Americans perceive the world around them. And because both sides, at least the major parties in the United States, the Republicans and the Democrats, because both sides are hell-bent on digging their feet in to defend the position that they're in, there's a whole lot of life in America that is flying over the heads of almost everyone Now, God is not desirous that the people who call him Father, that is, the people who are born again, the people who have made the confession that Jesus Christ is their Lord, is their Savior, God is not desirous of the church walking in darkness. God is also not desirous of the church wrapping herself in colors of blue or colors of red, because those colors are not the colors of heaven. Heaven has one color, and that is under the drapery and the covering of the blood of Jesus Christ. So if you're not interested in becoming a better Christian, if you're not interested in figuring out how to truly immerse yourself in the Word of God so that you can not only build a stronger relationship with Jesus Christ personally, but also so you can get stronger as a Christian so that you can withstand these waves and these billows. I'm speaking of like a churning sea. If you're not interested in learning how to withstand the waves and the billows that are coming to this nation, then you're going to find yourself in a tough spot. So I had a dream this morning, and this dream has been on my mind so much. I'm making it now because I feel that the urgency of this dream is for the now. So regardless of if you're a new person and you're coming here with a lot of ideas and you're coming here with a lot of, oh, you know, I know a bit of this and I know a bit of that, I'm going to have to ask you to pack everything that you know, zip it up tight in the bag that you brought it in, and set it to the side. Reason is you've not come here so that you can think the way that you think. You can do that for free at your house. You're coming here so that God can talk to you about the world that God is going to allow in the United States and worldwide. The bag of tricks that you have are not going to be able to help you cope in the world that is coming. And so this dream is part of what I would call, well, it definitely is by now, a developing series here on the Master's Voice. Now, if you've been here a long time, this won't be new to you, but if you're new, it bears saying. The Lord has a way of coming into what I will just call a series arc. And when God comes into a series arc, what I start to notice is that I will keep seeing the same thing again and again and again and again and again. Many people, when they're not used to prophecy, they will say, but you've said this already. You've said this already. Why do you keep bringing the same prophecy? You have to understand that I will bring any prophecy that God gives me. If God gives me the same prophecy, the exact words, if he ever were to do this and give me the same prophecy 11 days in a row, 22 days in a row, the exact same series of words in the exact same sentence structure, I'm going to make 11 or 22 videos in a row consecutively saying the same thing. I'm going to put different pictures on it. They're all going to have different names, but every time you click it, it's going to be the same thing. And that is what being God honoring is. Being God honoring is receiving God's message in exactly the way he wants to express himself, how he says it, the way he says it, with the appropriate emphasis. If God brings a message that is strong and harsh, that message is not going to be delivered with temperance and peace so that the people don't feel overly shocked or overly scared or overly anything like that. I don't do that. I'm not going to hold back what God says. I'm not going to temper what God says. I'm doing my absolute best to capture everything that he says and deliver it in the spirit that it was given to me. And that is because the end result is for the people of the world, not only America, but the people of the world, to get used to God's voice. This is what Israel was not used to. They lived in Egypt under captivity for 430 years. God became a distant story. He wasn't real to them anymore. The way that they viewed him was, well, if this God was so powerful and we're supposed to be his people, then where is he? Where is he? That's exactly what the people of God, who are known as Judah, this is his direct heritage people. That's exactly what Judah is doing in America today. You can hardly talk to Judah. I am Judah, but you can hardly talk to Judah without the vitriol of their pain and their anger coming out. Well, if God was so real, then where is he? He's right where he always is. He's sitting in his mighty, mighty, mighty throne, in his mighty, mighty heaven, perusing the entire earth. His eyes are on everything, from a little fly to a little squirrel to ancient dinosaur bones to us. So to ask where is he is kind of odd. God is everywhere, he's all at once, and he never changes. So people not being used to the way that God works, it's always us who needs the adjustment. So when God is saying something, it has to come forward exactly the way he's saying it without holding anything back, because there's purpose in God's communication at all times. What God is communicating to us right now in America is that we are going to have, it's not just a horrible time of it. That's not quite the full way to capture it. We are going to have the worst time of it that we have ever had conceivably. And that is why I said at the beginning, it's very important for us who live here in the United States to pay attention, because what will happen is, if you keep hearing the same thing over and over, your brain, your natural brain, naturally your brain will start to tell you, we've heard this before, but you are at risk of missing the subtleties, the nuances in the conversation of God. You really are at risk of missing what he's trying to tell us. This particular series that I've noticed that we are in, that keeps talking about the overreach of the government. I've talked about government overreach here for a long time, for a very long time. It's one of the biggest themes here on the Master's Voice. Just simplified with this sentence: the government is going to take off its mask. And once the government of the United States takes off its mask, we, the people, are going to suffer, because we will no longer be confronting an American government. We will be confronting our very first taste of the beast government. And we've always been told here what the characteristics of the beast government would be. The beast government is not going to care about the laws of America. No one can expect the beast to operate by American laws, because the beast of Revelation 13, the beast system, is not an American system. It's a satanic, global, end times, one world system. It has no respect for the laws of any country.
When it comes to knowing what you're dealing with, knowing what you're looking at, knowing what you're listening to, you have to discern in your heart and really let your spirit be the judge. God is not the author of confusion. God is not the author of chaos. Now, he will come up in there and flip some tables over if things start to get out of control. But you always have to know that Satan is roaming around this world, creating chaos, stirring up things, putting people against each other. So you always got to keep your full body armor on and represent for Christ. But hey, everyone has their own thought and opinion. Make sure you drop down in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this video. See y'all next time.